all of you from all over the world. And I'm extremely excited also for this webinar, as was the first one that we did some days ago. Again, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Spiros. Nice to meet you. I'm the technical trainer of Medit for the region of EMEA. I'm responsible for the technical trainer of of our partners in the EMEA, and also I'm doing technical support through our Zendesk platform. I would like to introduce also my colleague Giuseppe. Giuseppe, you can talk about yourself, your company, what you do.
Hello to everyone. Nice to meet you, everyone. And I am Giuseppe Croccia. I am the CTO of Arge Solutions company. We are the developers of Maestro 3D software. And today we are pleased to share with you this time for explaining some of our details of our product, focusing on ClearLiner digital workflow. Thank you to all the Medit, all the person of Medit company for sharing with you this opportunity. So,
thank you very much, Giuseppe.
So
now let's see what we will talk about today and what we will show you. So first, I will start with my presentation, and I will show you the whole workflow that the orthodontist will have to perform through our platform by using our scanner, and what kind of functions they have available. So they will be, it will be possible for them to take the most of it. And of course, after that, we will show the workflow that you need to proceed in order to make sure that you have a very smooth passage to Maestro Ortho Studio, which is the software that we will talk today. For the people that they have issue with the sound, please check your sound devices, because here we have sound and people hear us. Basically, can everybody hear us? Is everybody has sound? Can you please confirm that in our chat, that you have all sound and you can hear us clearly? Anybody has sound? We're okay? Yes, okay. So, yes, so we can proceed.
Okay.
And we proceed. I will just switch off my camera now in order to pay attention to my presentation.
I will do the same.
Now, can you hear me? Yes, I think you can hear me. So what I was saying, I was saying that we have the metal bracket scanning, okay, and that it's very easy to scan without any problem. So just a second. Can you hear me, everybody, now? Now we have sound, because by mistake I closed the sound before. Can you hear me now, everybody? I think we should be okay now. So, okay, so now we talk about the metal bracket scanning. Okay, the metal bracket scanning can be performed really easily and without spray at all. Okay, so you rotate the scanner from multiple sides as much as you can without any issue, and you try to capture the data from multiple sides. And also, okay, And also another, as you can see, we have many cases here that we have captured already, okay, without using any spray. But even if you use spray, please do it in a very conservative way. We just need as minimum spray as possible. We don't need a lot, okay, because you deform the data. Also, you can see other cases here that we have scanned and other partners have scanned from EMEA by capturing brackets. And also here for even bigger restorations. So pay attention on that, that we don't have the need of a spray in order to capture the data of brackets. Okay, of course, in case you have ceramic brackets which are light transparent, I think it's meant that you will use some spray for all scanners, not only for ours. Okay. Also, yeah, another case that you can see here, okay, with brackets. And let's talk about our measurement tool, which I will show you later how it is working. So within our software, you have the possibility to perform multiple calculations and measurements with using our measurement tool. So now you can take the opportunity and you can perform easily and very simply, as I will show you, multiple measurements within the mouth in order to help you to design and predict what will be the workflow that we are going to use and the therapy that you're going to use for your case. And another important thing is that in case you would like to send the case to your lab, you can take screenshots, as I will show you also, with these measurements, so your lab can have your measurements exactly where you have, and they won't miss any information at all. So you can send them multiple information from multiple sites, and they will have all the things that they need. Also, you can see another measurement here for the lower jaw with the 2 points function that I will show you also. And here we have the width of the intermolar space of the mouth. So you can perform a small point here, and then you press 2 points in the occlusal surface of the molars, and then you can see the measurement that you have here. Another option, another also measurement here from another case. And also, in case you would like to measure your teeth, that you're going to perform some rotations or migrations or whatever, you can measure them as many times as you want without issue. And here also you see a molar that we measured. And let me now show you by sharing my screen the Ortho Capture tool. Let me check first my screen that I have open my Medit link. So yes, now you can see my screen. So how the Ortho Capture works? It's really easy. So since you are here in your case, and this is the case folder, okay, and we have our file here. We just go here in the upper side of the corner, in the upper side of the screen, and then you press the Ortho Capture. So now what we will do is that I will just roll my mouse a bit in order to zoom, okay, and I can press save, and I can perform multiple captures in any way that I want, not only for the lower jaw, as you will see, but also for the upper jaw. I will do it again so you can see. And also you can do the same thing for the maxilla. So you can put it, for example, like this, let's say, okay. And then you can go to the Ortho Capture, and then by zooming with rolling the mouse, okay, you can also tilt here with the right click in case you would like to have different views here also. And then you press save. And also another amazing tool that you can take advantage from that is that if you go down now in the cases that in the pictures that we created here, for example, you can go in this function, which is the image capture and memo, and you can write anything you want on the picture. So for example, here, you can go here and you can make an indication to your lab, like this, for example, and let's say something like that. And then you can leave him a small message here, which can say, just a second to change the languages, is okay. Sorry, I can go. Okay, yes, in the here. So you can click save, and now, as you can see, we will appear again with a message, so your lab can receive any information that they have. There is no information that they will miss from this issue, from this point of view. So let's go back again on our presentation, and let me share again my presentation. So, okay, so now here, as I show you, is the Ortho Capture tool. And now let's talk about what is the scanning workflow that you're going to use. The scanning workflow is extremely simple. It can go simpler than that, believe me. So 3 steps, all the scanning workflow for the orthodontist. First, we create the orthodontic order form, which is important in order to send the case through Medit. Of course, you can export your case from our system and send it with an email or with any other means. But we always highly recommend to use Medit because it's simpler, faster, and of course also the data are safe and encrypted. We have also to scan the upper jaw in this step. Okay, you can perform your measurements, you can take your screenshots, etc., etc., etc. And also, before you proceed, you can change in the display mode from color to reliability map, which I will show you in the meantime later, in order for you to check if your data are reliable or not. So in case you would like to perform additional scans, you are able to do it. Step number 2, we scan the lower jaw. Again, we can perform measurements if we like in the way that we described before. And of course, again, here we will change with the display mode from color to reliability map. Keep in mind that you can scan even with the reliability map if you want, which is helpful for some people. For some others, they prefer to scan first in color and then switch to reliability map. And then the last step that we have is the occlusion scan that we scan from both sides, as I will show you, okay, in order to perform the occlusion. And then another important thing that I have explained is that in the video that I will perform is that you can minimize the file size in order for you to be able to send it to any ortho lab that they are using an OrthoCAD, and they will design digitally your restorations. So there is no limitation at all with which lab you're going to work or with which software you're going to use for designing your restorations. Also keep in mind that in our system, we have also the option to export, as I will show you right now. Just a second to share again my screen. So again, I'm going to jump on Medit. And as you can see now, if I go on settings, in the set export option, I have now multiple options for CAD softwares that you can export with the same coordinates. Keep in mind that each CAD software has it has unique coordinates of the files that creating or receiving or accepting. Okay, and of course, as you can see here, we have the option of Maestro, so you can export your files and just throw them in the Maestro Ortho Studio and start designing your restorations. Or in case you would like to use other softwares, you can do it as you can see here by just selecting and click apply. Okay, so let's go back again on our presentation. Okay, and so the last part that you will do is that you will have to decide if you would like to create standard data. So you will just press the left side, the left option that you will see in the complete step, or the thing that you will do is that you will click 3D printable model, which is the right option in the complete step. Keep in mind something important. Can you please, can you hear me now? Because some people are having issue with the sound. Is the sound now okay? So what you should pay attention is that always make sure that if you're going to send the case to be designed for orthodontic restoration, and of course you will print models, orthodontic models, etc., never use the create 3D printable model, because it will be harder for the dental lab to cut the base and put their own, and they will distort the data. So there's no need to do that, unless you would like for some reason to print instantly in your clinic for some reason, for diagnostic reasons, for demo, or for marketing purposes, the model in order to show it to the patient. But apart from that, or wherever you need to design a digital restoration for the orthodontics, you will just create standard digital model. Okay. So now let's proceed to see the workflow that we will use for performing the scanning and everything we need. Here is the first step that we are going to begin in order to scan an orthodontic case. First of all, we create our form. This one here indicates the orthodontic restorations, which we will select the upper or the lower jaw depending on what we would like to scan. Usually we would like to scan both anyway. And also in the memo you can write whatever you want regarding your order. This will be transferred to your dental lab, and they will be able to see whatever you would like to perform regarding this case. So since you write whatever you want here in the memo, you click save, and now we're going to perform our scan. As you can imagine, the case is already pre-scanned from an orthodontic patient, but I would like to show you what you should do and what will be the workflow that you will follow regarding your orthodontic cases. So keep in mind that we need to scan everything: upper jaw, lower jaw, and occlusion, of course. And after that, I'm going to describe all the tools or features that you need to pay attention in order to ensure that you will create all the things that you need in the size that is necessary in order for your dental lab to proceed with the orthodontic restoration design. So, as you can see here, we have the upper jaw, we have also the lower jaw, and we have also the occlusion scan from here and also from here. Keep in mind that in orthodontic cases, and basically also in prosthodontic cases, we scan from both sides, okay, until the depth of the mouth with 21 millimeters depth, okay, always. But wherever you scan the interproximal areas, okay, specifically here and also here, but also here from the buccal side, always you minimize that on 12, 13 regarding your scanning technique, okay? But always we need to make sure that the light won't go further than that in order to protect our scanning from capturing unnecessary data like the tongue, the cheek, etc. Okay, so first things first, I have performed my scan. I see that everything is okay, more or less. I make sure that my scans have nice cut data like that, okay? And of course you pay attention here with reliability map to see whatever you need to scan more, okay? So more or less our scanning is okay. In other cases maybe I would scan more here, okay? So you pay attention always your overall scanning data to have a color like that, okay, which means that you have reliable data. Okay, let's begin. I would like first to perform my measurements. So what I will do, we have here the measurement tool, okay, and here you have the selection tools. I will select all my jaw and I press right click in order to close my selection. I press the ticked button and the system is performing a merging. So after the merging is completed, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to start doing my measurements, and also I have the possibility either to take video or also to take pictures if I would like, with screenshots of course. And these data will be sent directly to my dental lab through Medit link. So let's begin. 2 points. I do one click here, one click here. My first measurement is here. I perform my second measurement. Let's say it's here, here. Third. Okay. So, and here let's say that you would like to take a picture in order to send it to your lab. Okay, in case you would like to change something or you want to repeat a measurement, okay, you just click delete, you press in the middle of the measurement and then you repeat again. So let's say I would like to measure from here until here. Okay, and the same occurs for the other measurements. Okay, so you can do whatever you want. Let's take a picture now. So I'm going here, my screenshot tool, and you have to decide between this area by just moving your cursor of the mouse or by just selecting all this area. So I will take a picture from here only, this surface, and now it is saved inside here in my screen capture image manager. Okay, so all these files, all these photos that I have captured, screenshots, will be transferred in the folder of the case. Okay, let's go now to perform another measurement for that. This is the next option that I will use. So the first option that we used was measure distance by 2 points, and here we have measure distance by 3 points. So 1 point here, 1 point here, and 1 point here. Okay, so now you have your measurement. Again, in case you would like to change something, you just delete here and you repeat again. So for example, like that. Again, let's say I want here, here, and here. Okay, so if you would like to take a picture again, let's say I want to go all the screen, I capture it, it's captured. Okay, and let's proceed now to the lower jaw. We will perform the same. Okay, so let's start again. We select the measure, we select all the area, right click to close the selection, and then we will click the ticked button in order to perform the merging. So after the merging will complete it, we will perform the same tasks in order for you to see. So again, 2 points. So one here, another one here, and also here and here. Okay, in case you're okay with that, you take a screenshot, finished, and now I'm going to proceed to my next measurement. Also another thing that you can perform apart from measuring these distances, if you would like to measure the distance of a tooth, you can just take 2 points here and here and measure the distance of a tooth. In case you would like to be accurate in some areas, especially also for the front areas, what you can do, okay, because sometimes it might be confusing. For example, here, okay, first you will take a picture, let's say from here until here, okay, and then you will rotate the tooth from the buccal side, and you will set your points exactly the interproximal area in order for you to see the difference, okay, and then in the final touch you can perform an accurate measurement like that. So now more or less you know where exactly your measurement is, okay. What other things you can do also is, apart from that, you can perform also the measurement to measure the distance of the depth, the width of the jaw here. So 3 points, I go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have now my measurement. Okay, again I take a screenshot, I'm finished. And now another thing that can make things even easier for you, in case you would like to measure it, it's also this tool that we have. Okay, I'm gonna exit from my measurement tool. Okay, so in case you would like to make things even easier for you, and you would like to minimize the size or anything else you might need in order to make easier for your dental lab, for any CAD software that they're using, to accept the file easier, okay, without any issues, what you can do is you can go here on the settings, and then you can minimize the size of the file. So in this way we minimize a bit the resolution without losing accuracy, okay, and in this way we ensure that wherever we will send these files and these scans will be absolutely acceptable from any Ortho CAD software in the market, because our standard output size that we have usually is not as small as it should be. Is a bit bigger, because our resolution also is bigger, okay, but there is no problem for you, since you can come here in the settings and minimize the file size. So in this way, whatever software you would like to use, for example Maestro that we're going to talk today, you will be able to send your files and will be no issue at all. Okay, so after you perform that, you go here, you press complete, and now you have two options here. So if you would like just to send your data to your lab and they start doing your aligner case, always you will select this option, the right one, the left one, create standard digital model, okay. But if you would like instantly, for some reason, to print your first situation, you will go here in the second option, which says create 3D printable model. But be careful, please never ever select the second option and send it to the lab in order to create aligners, because it creates issues, because usually this base, the 3D printable model and the bases are positioned from the OrthoCAD, so you don't need to do that. Basically you will create frustration to your lab if you do that, okay. So just press the first option to create standard data, okay, and send them the case through Medit link, so you have nothing else to do. So I will click now create standard digital data, okay, and now we will see how easily and instantly you can send your case to the lab through Medit link. Of course, it is also possible, if you would like to export your data, and I will show you how, but we highly recommend to use Medit link, which is free to send the files to your lab, that they have also a Medit link lab account. Okay, they don't need to have a Medit scanner in order to have a Medit link lab account. Okay, and of course, in the options of the export that I will show you, you have the possibility to export exactly with the same coordinates of the CAD software that you're going to work. So, in case you would like to export your case, for example, inside the export options, as you will see here, when the post-processing will finish, you will be able to see the options that I am talking about. So, as you can see here, I have different options. Okay, so for the CAD software that I'm going to work, I'm going to select it and then export the case to the desktop or wherever it is okay for me. So I will select Maestro. Okay, and then here what you will do is that you select what kind of files you would like to export. STL is grayscale, which means that we have no color information. And in case you would like to work for Maestro, for example, what we will do is that we will select PLY, which means that our files will have color information, so our dental technician will be able to see color information in case he wants to do it. Okay, so I will click apply. I will just write whatever I would like to have folder, so it will be webinar case. Okay, I click save, and then if I would like to go directly to my folder, I click yes, and now you can see the files that we have here. Okay, so let's see now here also our files. So keep in mind that in order for us to send the cases through Medit link, what we need to do is that we need first to have our files available on the cloud. Okay, so that it will be available, of course, to send them through Medit link. Okay, so now our files are almost all available. Okay, here we are, and now I'm going to send my case through Medit link to my lab account. So I click order, and then what I'm going to do is that I'm going here to select my lab account, which is this one. This is a contract account. It was in the past. Now you this is basically one type of way that you can cooperate with a lab in case you would like to perform payments through Medit link. Otherwise, we have partnership also. That means that you will send just the files and then the payments will be done outside of Medit link. So this is just typical, you can just ignore it. But there is also this possibility. So if you don't want to share the patient name, you can unselect it. You can write whatever you want here also in case you forgot something. You set the delivery date, and here I will click skip payment. Otherwise, I will send files in case I had the other option. So I send my case now to the lab. So what I'm going to do, let's say that now I'm the lab. Okay, I'm going now to log out from here, and then I'm going to access in my lab account. And we are coming here. Oh, sorry, I did something mistake. Yeah, I forgot I have changed the password. So here we are. So this is the option. Okay, I start from the inbox, and here is my case which is pending. So I click this one. You can see here all the files. Okay, in case the lab would like to accept the case, he can just confirm order here in the lower right corner. Otherwise, you can click reject. Of course, also the lab has the possibility to print the order by coming in the upper right corner, and then you have this option here that you are able to print the prescription, and either you can have it as a PDF or you can put it in the case folder of the patient in your clinic or in your lab, whatever you would like. See, PDF, print. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to confirm the order, and now my case, since it is accepted, is transferred directly to Workbox. And now I'm going here, and keep in mind something, we have another advantage here for the people that they will use Maestro. As you can see in the app box, we have also the integration button in case needed, so you just install it for free. Okay, and now if I go to the settings here in the settling program, I have also the option of Maestro. So in case I would like to start designing directly from Medit link, I can do that easily. So now here what I'm going to do is that I'm going on Workbox, I access in my case. So here you can see the files, so we have the pictures, you see all the pictures that I have done and the new ones that I created lately with you. Okay, and here you can see also the files, texture or color, of course, and you can see also the other file if you would like. Okay, and of course now what you can do is that you will just click CAD. Okay, and from here you will be able to start designing and Maestro will take over. So now it's the moment I leave the wheel, and now my colleague Giuseppe from Maestro will take the lead and he will start demonstrating to us all the features and capabilities that you can do with Maestro. Giuseppe, I give you now the wheel. Okay, so now Giuseppe can let us know what he is going to do with his software and what he's going to show. Giuseppe, you may proceed, please.
Dear speakers, thank you for your presentation, and thank you again to everybody participating to this webinar. Now I will going to show you a typical working session with Maestro software for the purpose of doing aligner in a digital way. Basically, I will start showing you what do you need to do before to start the treatment. Then I will move to the virtual setup step in order to obtain, let me say, the best smile for our patient. Finally, I will show you how to choose the duration of the treatment. I mean, how many models to export in order to do the treatment. And finally, I will show you how to export the model. Please keep in mind that the purpose of this session is to show you the tool that software offers. So I will not focus on the correctness of the case in orthodontic terms. Finally, please write your questions in the query and answer chat, and we will reply at the end of this presentation. So let me start now. This presentation is to show you the typical steps to follow in order to do aligners in a digital way. So starting from input models, we will define the occlusal plane and the model's orientation. We can do it putting 3 clicks like explained in the example picture. We can start from the lower or the upper jaw. We can do also using more points in order to define our occlusal plane. And right after defining this starting occlusal plane, we can also improve our positioning, moving the axis and moving the center of our models using the manipulator available on the screen. You can see here that we can also show or hide other graphical elements in order to better evaluate the positioning of the models. This step is really important because everything we will do in the upcoming step will be made according to the axis defined here. Supposing that we are happy with positioning, we can proceed and start now the job. It's the real job. Let me say in this way. So we can move in the virtual setup tab, and we can start with the teeth segmentation. This is a preliminary step that we need to perform in order to start to move the teeth in ideal position. Okay, in order to do that, we need to perform the measurement of the teeth in a mesial distal way, starting with right tooth. The software now automatically will label the other teeth accordingly. If a tooth is missing, we need just to update the label, and software will identify the other teeth in the proper way automatically. After doing this step, we can press next, and the software will perform in automatic the teeth segmentation. I mean, the detection of the margin is performed automatically. If we want, we can do a small adjustment, just interacting with the control point. In general, we need just to verify that the detection has been performed properly. Consider that after this step, the software will optimize in automatic all the lines. So even after this step, the software will optimize further the detected line in order to obtain the best possible segmentation. Now the software will proceed with the optimization, and right after the optimization we will have also the option to perform some small adjustment to the lines when needed, and then the software will perform the teeth segmentation. Consider that this step must be performed exactly in the same way for the lower model. I will do just for the upper, because we want to focus later during the presentation on other aspects of the software. Anyway, you see here the software has performed the optimization, and if we want, we can just do small adjustment when needed. Then the software will proceed with the teeth segmentation, and at the end of this step, the software will show us the teeth in a color, the gum in another color, or obviously if you have a textured color model, a color scan like in this case, we will see the real color of the teeth. Consider that the software will show us the virtual roots with an anatomic shape, but as you can see in this on screen now, so the software has automatically performed the combination of virtual roots with scanned crowns. You see that if we want, we can optimize the axis that software detected for every tooth. In this step, it's really important because all the movements that we will perform during the virtual setup step will be made accordingly to the axis defined here. So we can do just clicking on the tooth, on a given tooth, and changing the axis, you see. using this manipulator, or in a more precise way, using the controls located here on the top of the screen, in which we can see the starting tip, amount of tip, torque, and we can also do a change of the rotation center for every tooth. Consider that as we have here the virtual roots, but if when available, we can import the roots directly from a CT scan and combine the real roots of the patient with the crowns coming from the scan. So let me suppose that we are happy with the result. We can proceed pressing next. We can repeat the same step for the lower jaw, and then we can move in the virtual setup step that will be explained just right after this first introductory presentation. I mean the step in which we can start to move the teeth in order to obtain the best smile for our customer. So, clicking on this icon, we can enter in the virtual setup stage. You can see here in the main editing area the models. By default, you can see upper and lower simultaneously. You can move the models just interacting with the mouse, or you can use the icons available in the right side of the screen to quickly change the point of view. This can be really helpful because, for example, if we want to simulate some movements involving, for example, the posterior teeth, this can be very helpful because you see, just clicking this icon, I can, for example, select left side of the models. Just let me simulate some simple movements. You can see here in the left side of the screen that we have some icons that quickly allow to select some group of teeth. So, as you can see here, just clicking two icons, I can select all the posterior teeth. These allow, for example, to simulate really quickly some movements. Let me simulate, for example, a distalization in this moment. Just let me move again the window from this side, and now I will start to show you one of the possible ways to move the teeth. You will see during this video that we have several choices. One of the easier way, for example, to simulate a distalization could be just to enter here in a text, through a text field, a numerical value, and doing, for example, 1 millimeter of distalization, you can see immediately how the software performed the operation. The good thing of having, you see, quick ways to select the teeth is that in just a few seconds I have performed the movement of posterior teeth, for example, without changing the occlusion between the teeth itself. Obviously, if I want, I can also select one tooth at a time, and I can perform movement involving only one tooth at a time. For starting from now, just let me work with one model at a time, just to focus on some of the details of the software. So just let me show you, for example, what we have made now. So you will be able to see a first animation of our movement. So I have started, as I've told you, doing a digitalization. I can also rename this first group of movement, just clicking here and assigning a name to my movements. Just let me show you now a simple animation of what we have made until now. So you will be able to see in this moment, you see, what we have made very easily. So the idea is that in this way I have performed a very controlled movement, in this case a digitalization, with a very with a very short effort. Consider that I have now, for example, simulated the movement of the posterior teeth, but let me simulate now another group of movements. For example, just adding a new layer to this virtual setup. The layers are a very powerful tool that this software offers, because in this way I can assign a sequence to the movement that I want to perform. So in this case, for example, I have just started to perform a simulation, doing a digitalization. Now, for example, let me show you a movement involving only the anterior teeth. In order to do so a movement involving only the anterior teeth, I can easily create a new layer, clicking here. Let me, for example, rename also this layer. So now I will start to move the anterior teeth. So in this simple simulation, I have created some space in order to perform my movement. Now, for example, I could start to move the other teeth in order to obtain a better smile, let me say in this way, for our customer. Consider that, okay, I have selected, you see, only one tooth in this moment, and I have performed the movement using another approach. So I have just moved the tooth using the mouse. So I have basically moved my tooth using the mouse, and in the same way, just using the mouse, I can rotate the tooth with respect to the current view direction. Consider that so I can perform the movement using a numerical, the movement overview, and so I can specify the movement just changing, you see. I can perform a given kind of movement changing the number here. Otherwise, I can use the mouse. Finally, I could also use a manipulator to do the same kind of movement. So maybe using the manipulator, it's possible to perform a more controlled kind of movement. And you see, in this way, I have closed the space for this tooth. And so, in general, consider that I can use the 3 different ways to move the teeth simultaneously. I mean, I can use a combination of 3 different kind of movement. I can start with the manipulator. If I want, then I can perform another kind of movement using the keyboard. Finally, I can refine the movement using the mouse. So the software is very flexible in this from this point of view. Consider that until now I'm working without just using one single window. So you see, I'm working with the full editing area, showing just one model from one point of view. It's really helpful sometimes to split the screen, because the same movement that we have performed from a single point of view can, in this moment, perform it using more point of view. So, for example, you see, in this moment I am interacting with the right side of the screen, performing some movement. If I want, I can refine this kind of movement now, interacting in the left side of the screen. I can still use, for example, this tool, this icon, to select all the teeth simultaneously. And you see, I can move simultaneously in this moment the group of selected teeth. So you can do in a very simple way a movement in order to correct the position of our teeth in a very short time. Consider, okay, let me now go back to the main screen, because I want to show you, okay, I will show you now again a simulation of the animation, so you can appreciate the layers in this way. You can see now that during my simulation, I've started the movement of posterior teeth mainly. Then I have refined my virtual setup for the anterior teeth. In this moment, I'm playing the animation in loop. I have two different options to play an animation in loop or just a single cycle. Now we are showing the models with color. So this is the real color taken from the scanner. In this case, using a Medit scanner. In any moment, I can exclude the visualization of the texture color, and I can just see a simulation showing the teeth in white color and the gum in pink color. So the software also offers several options in terms of visualization. We can, in any moment, if we want, change the details of the visualization. So if I want just to focus on the teeth, you see, I can change the transparency of some graphical elements. So in this way, I have the gum that is transparent. And here I have several kind of objects that I can visualize, that I can show during the virtual setup, and then can help me during the virtual setup itself. In particular, you see, we have performed all the movement without taking in account any kind of reference. If we want, it's really can be helpful to show, for example, what is the original tooth position. So in this moment, you can see that in yellow color, you can see which was the original tooth position. So you have also an option to see in a visual way which is the performed movement. So just in this moment, you can see that we have obtained maybe a better alignment for the teeth itself. Consider that another very interesting tool that this software offers in order to have maybe some reference during our virtual setup is the option to upload some pictures from the disk or from you see a library of previously imported pictures. So in this case, you see that I have an arch that I can superimpose to my models, and you can see that in this way this tool can be helpful to perform some alignment, having some reference on the model itself. You can see that the arch is more or less aligned to my model. I can still, you see, perform some adjustments. So in this way, you have a very powerful way to move the teeth in an expected position, assigning a shape to my model, to assign a given shape to the alignment. So you see, consider that by default the software align the plane in this way, but if I so in this case it's occlusal plane, but if I want, I can also change the plane. So if I have a picture that I want to, for example, a cephalometric picture of the patient, I can put on the screen in this way. And the software also allows to quickly focus only on a part of my model using some very helpful graphical options. So you can see that the software can be easy to use in terms of interaction, but it has a lot of tools that can help during the movement of the teeth, during all the stages of the virtual setup itself. Just consider, okay, that the software offers several other options. So in general, you can do with this software everything that you need in order to perform a virtual setup, in order to do aligners, or also other things like bracket placement, indirect bonding, and similar. For today, we could just focus on the clear aligner part of the software. Consider that, okay, we have seen how to move the teeth until now. I have started my movement doing a distalization, so doing the movement of upper and lower jaw simultaneously. Then for showing some feature, I have just selected the upper model, and I have excluded the visualization of the lower. Obviously, I can in any moment see the lower and the upper simultaneously, but even if I work with one model at a time, you can consider that I can start, for example, clicking here, an evaluation of the contact points. What I mean is that the software can show you in real time, when doing the movements, what happens in terms of occlusion, in terms of contacts, with respect to the occlusal, to the antagonist model, and also in terms of contact that you can create with the neighbor teeth. So you can see here, for example, that performing my movements, I have made a contact of around 0.30 millimeters between tooth 11 and tooth 22. So you can see the red horizontal lines showing the amount of contact with respect to the neighbor teeth, the vertical lines showing the amount of contact with the antagonist model. So you can see here, and basically this one is the maximum amount of intersection. If you look here, you can see where the contact point happens. And so in this way, okay, I have the same visualization for the lower, and if I want, you see, just starting to move some teeth, you see that now the contact point change in terms of quantity. So the idea is that you can work simultaneously between upper and lower, or you can just use one model at a time, and you can still take in account for the contact point. You can see here in the left side that we have also a color map showing quickly the amount of contact that we have between, in this case, upper and lower, and also between neighbor teeth. So the software in this way shows only contact point bigger than 0.36 millimeters. So this is, if I want to refine my checks, you see, I can move this slider, and so I can see now also contact bigger than 0.24 millimeters. In this way, I can quickly select which are the contact points that can be interesting from my point of view, and exclude all the other contact points. Consider that another important thing that software allows to do is to use the attachments. So in order to perform some kind of movements, I have the option now to put some attachments on my model. We have a library of attachments. Basically, there are some predefined shapes that can be helpful to perform some kind of movements. Just let me select one shape. Clicking this icon, I can now, you see, putting the attachment on my tooth, and in a very simple way, I can interact with the attachment, and I can change its shape. So you see, I can change position, thickness, orientation, angulation. I have a lot of freedom in terms of what I can do with the attachments. I can also, you see, after putting an attachment, changing its shape. And after selecting my preferred shape, I can do copy and paste on another tooth, you see. So the same shape can be quickly positioned on another tooth. So having the same dimensions and the same parameters that I had chosen previously. Consider that after positioning the attachments, I can still optimize the position, and I have also the option to put more attachment for a given tooth. For example, if I want, I can put another attachment here, And based on the movements that I want to perform, I can in this way select the attachment, the right attachment. Consider that the attachment can be also negative, so click selecting this option. You can see that software basically put a negative attachment on the tooth. So this is a good way to perform pressure on the tooth. So in order to perform some kind of movements, so in this way you can easily simulate also buttons on the model. So you have, when you will print the model, you will have a concavity in correspondence of the negative attachments. Finally, just let me simulate one more thing during the virtual setup step. In particular, doing the movements, I have made, you see here, there is a small overlapping between the anterior teeth, for example. I have previously measured this overlapping. It is around 0.30 millimeters, for example. After measuring the overlapping, if I want to simulate an interproximal reduction, I can just click on the tooth that I want, for which I want to apply the interproximal reduction. I can simulate the interproximal reduction in this way. So I have selected my teeth. I can write here the amount of expected stripping, interproximal reduction. Here I can just, you see, apply the operation, and software put here a label showing that here I need to perform an interproximal reduction. So during this video we have seen what are the tools that software offers. Obviously, there are a lot of more options, but in order to focus also on other details of the typical workflow that we can follow in order to make the aligner, we will now assume that this is at the end part of our setup. So we have obtained our perfect smile, and we will move now on another step of the typical workflow, that is choosing how many models we need in order to obtain our treatment. So we will choose during the models builder step how many models we need to perform our treatment. We start now another step of the presentation. So we will see now the models builder step. For the virtual setup step, we will do now the models builder step. During the models builder step, we can choose how many models we want to have in order to perform our treatment. The software automatically calculates the number of models for our treatment based on some parameters. We have a default configuration. So a configuration is just a sequence of constraints that we will specify. In particular, you see we have added here 1 degree of maximum expected tip, 1 degree of rotation, the same for the torque, and 0.30 millimeters for example, for extrusion, intrusion, buccal lingual movement, and so on. We can also define our own configuration. You see here it's possible to create a new configuration and changing the parameters. So doing that, for example, I have created another configuration that has slightly different values, and we have less aligners. You can see 7 for the first layer for the distalization. If I move here, I can select the second layer. You see, for the second layer, the software will give me a number of 10 aligners based on the parameters that I have currently selected. I have in this second layer also the attachments. You can see here basically that on the final model I have also the attachments. When having the attachments on the teeth, the software also will create an extra model, the so-called template, in order to position the attachment in the mouth of the patient. About the template and the attachment in general, the software also allows to perform some delays in the positioning of the attachment. So if we want, for example, we can select a delay of 4. So that means that we will position the attachment not right starting from the first aligner of this second layer, but from the model from the fourth model. After, in any moment, you see, I can change some parameters if I want. If I change this parameter, you see, I will relax the constraint on the rotation, and the software will give me less aligner. The software also show me some warnings, because I could also change the number of aligners directly, but you see, putting less aligners, some of the movements will exceed the expected maximum rotation. Consider that the expected maximum rotation that you see here must be consider that as maximum movements that you can perform with the single aligners. After selecting my parameters and pressing next, okay, the software show me that there is a problem. Particular, let me show you again. There are 2 movements that exceed, 2 values that exceed the maximum allowed. So the software also give me some warnings when I do the movements. So pressing next, at this point, I have finished my preparation of the models, and right now I have, you see, the sequence of model obtained for this particular case. And now the last step will be to prepare the models for the exporting, and we will finish our presentation. To make our aligners. So the first thing that we can do is to remove some material, because in order to save material when we will print the object, the software offers the option to remove the extra parts of the model. In particular, we have two different tools. One, the tool that I'm using now, to design a trimming line, and in this way you can quickly select which is the important part of the model and which is the part to be removed. I need to do it just for one model, and the software will apply to all the other models. Another tool is the cutting with a plane. So basically the software offers the option to cut quickly a part of the model just using a cutting plane. You can see here, okay, that all the models have been cutted correctly. And now we are ready to export our model. If we want, we can also put a label on the model itself. So I will select the first model of the sequence. I will click on the label, and I can just now put a label on my model. I can click here. Just if I want, I can put a label on the base, for example. The label can be just a number, like in this case. I can also put a prefix if I want. And pressing next, the software will generate my labels. Consider that the roots will be not exported during the exporting stage. So you see the label will be here. The label can be also negative. In this case, I need to go back again and change, you see the option. Here I can select as a negative. And then I'm ready for the exporting procedure. I will just click here, select transition models. Finally, I will select my destination folder. For example, I can select this one. And pressing OK, I will export my case in the selected folder. So at the end of this procedure, we will be ready to print the models and then proceed with the thermoforming. Consider that we can also export some other information from the software. In particular, if we want, we can export a PDF report showing in a very syntactic way everything about our case. So in this way, or otherwise, we can export also a video of our case. And this is a really powerful tool for the communication between lab and doctor. Anyway, we have finished our exportation, and at this point we can start, if you have any question, discussion about what we have seen during this presentation. Thank you so much for your